Good morning and welcome to day 6 of Vlogmas. It is Monday today, so back to work. The boys have been dropped at school. They've both got quite exciting school days today. Jasper's class are doing something called Scrap Antics, which basically consists of, I think there's a company that comes and brings loads of like old tyres and just general kind of large pieces of scrap. And they go out in the playground and they get to do all kinds of activities and stuff with all of this kind of spare parts and scrap. I don't know, it sounds really fun. But he had to go to school today dressed in warm outdoor clothes that we don't mind getting muddy, so that was fun. And then Arthur's class are going on a school trip to the Dundee Science Centre. So he's been very excited about that for most of a week. So hopefully they will both have fun today. My plans for the day are to dye the December colour of the month. So I'm sure you will know by now because it's December and I've been doing it all year, but if you are new and you don't know, throughout this year I have been dyeing up a colourway each month inspired by an image using the Wombo Dream Art app, which is like an artificial intelligence created art. So you put in a keyword and you select your art style and it generates a piece of artwork. So each month I've been using the month as the keyword. So this month I put in December and picked an art style, and this is what it generated. So I will now dye up yarn inspired by this image. So that is the plan today. October and November's, as you saw the other day, are ready to go in the shop. So I think Friday, I will have a shop update on Friday evening with all of the October and the November, and hopefully by then the December, if I dye it today, it'll be dry by... It'll be dry enough Wednesday for me to skein it and label it. So yeah, it should be fine to go in the shop by Friday. So that's the plan. So I will bring you along with me for a dye day today, I think. That will be most of today's Vlogmas. Yeah, I also need to, what else do I need to do? I also need to pack some orders. I've got a few orders that I need to pack to go out, and I need to do a yarn order. I need to do an order of undyed yarn, so I need to stock check what I've got, check what I need for the clubs, and yeah, sort all of that stuff out. Oh yeah, clubs closed today, so I need to close the club listing and check my club numbers and stuff like that. But yeah, I've got my yarn in to soak, as you will have seen. I usually leave it for about half an hour to soak. So I'm gonna have my cup of tea that I'm waiting to brew. I'm gonna make myself some crumpets and I'm gonna sit down and have a little bit of breakfast while I've got half an hour, and then we will start some dyeing.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind this Christmas, we're gonna dance.
We're gonna dance, dance, dance,
Come on.
dance. We're gonna dance, dance, have a good time. Dance, dance, all night long. We're gonna dance, dance, and have a good time. I think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling, or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sanctuary. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart.
Right, I am on cup of tea number 3. I'm just pouring it, so I'm going to concentrate while I do that a second. There we go, before I overflow tea everywhere. The colour of the month is now dyed. It's just having a little soak. I've done all of the kind of colour of the month footage, which I think I'm just going to set it all to music rather than explain it and things, otherwise it gets really, really long. But what I thought I would do quickly is just give you a little rundown of the steps that you've just seen. So, I start off by prepping the yarn. I use reusable cable ties. They've got little clippy bits on them so I can take them on and off to handle the yarn, because I find that makes it really easy, and I can batch them together into their batches and handle them really easily. The yarn then needs to go into soak, into kind of an acid solution. I use white vinegar. I know a lot of people use citric acid, but some form of acid solution, and I let that soak for about half an hour. I then put my yarn into my pans and heat them up. I have a buffalo convection oven now, which I use for my yarn dyeing, which has been a lifesaver since moving into the utility room, because the utility room is not very big. In fact, I will show you quickly. I'm in my kitchen, which is also tiny. This is the extent of our kitchen. It is not big. But we do have a utility room, which is just through here, which is now being converted into my dye space, but it's also not massively big. So I've got a little bit of work surface space over here under the window. You can see the yarn is just cooling off and having a little soak there. I've then got a little sink, which was already in, and then we've just got work surface space over here. This here is the wall at the edge. So I've got a bit of work surface space, and then that's my big oven, which holds 4 pans, so it's really, really handy. And I've got a bit of space for kind of prepping yarn there, and a little bit of space for sort of, I don't know, soaking yarn and stuff like that. So it works really, really well, and it is really handy. But it's not a lot of space. So the oven has made a massive difference in that respect. So yeah, the pans then go in the oven to heat up so that everything is nice and hot. And then I take them out and I put some dye on. I work out what I'm going to do. I use a mix sometimes of liquid dyes and powdered dyes. This time I've mostly used powdered dyes. And then they go in to sort of set one side, come back out to set the other side, go back in again. And then eventually, once it's all had time to set and you've put all your dye in and you've got all your colours done and everything like that, it comes back out, and then I just give them a bit of a soak in water. I use a tiny little bit of wool wash just to kind of soften things up a little bit, and because I use vinegar, I also think it helps take away any of that, any risk of there being like a vinegary smell. Which there isn't a vinegary smell, I promise. But yeah, I use a little bit of wool wash and give it a little soak, and then it will come out of that in a little bit. I'm going to let it cool down, have a little soak, cool down, and then I pop it in my spin dryer, and then it'll go up on the airers overnight, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this one dry. I really like how it looked in the pans. I really like how it looks now it's into soak. I can't wait to see it dry and skeined up. kids are in bed. We are having a cheeky takeaway tonight because Mondays are the day that we pick our food shopping up from the supermarket. We do click and collect, and I didn't realise that I was supposed to cook macaroni cheese for all of us. So
Well, to be fair, I didn't really tell you.
no, you did the menu this week, didn't you? And I didn't realise, so I didn't cook any dinner. So we ended up having to do the kids a quick dinner, and then it was a good excuse to have takeaway.
Yeah, it's worked out really badly.
So we have a Chinese on its way. But we need to do fact of the day.
Fact of the day!
And seeing as we're having a Chinese takeaway,
Yes?
I thought
No, you don't have a fact about Chinese restaurants,
I have
do
a
you?
fact about Chinese restaurants.
Oh,
I do.
G.
Did you know that the first Chinese restaurant opened in the UK was opened on Glasshouse Street, Piccadilly Circus in London,
I did not know that.
in 1908?
1908.
Yep.
Boom.
And it had things like chop suey and fish cakes and things like that. But, like, Chinese takeaway favourites, like sweet and sour and egg fried rice and stuff like that, didn't really appear in the UK until after the First World War.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
And-
Chinese takeaway facts for you.
And those are facts.